into my intro, I want to say thank you for finding my channel, right? You know, and possibly subscribing to it, right? So I really appreciate that, you guys, and whatnot. And I did say I was going to keep up my word with watching and reading more One Piece, right? It got interesting. I'm interested now. You got my attention. Now I'm here, all right? So throughout the video, I'm going to talk about what I thought about chapter 1045. I'm going to talk about what I thought about, because I did go ahead and read it. And boy, oh boy, it was insane. Right now, a bunch of people in my live stream was telling me, yo, Sue, Luffy got Toon Force. Luffy got Toon Force. He got Toon Force. He's a Looney Tune now. I'm gonna need you guys to quietly and respectfully get off the hype train. Relax. It's not that he's not doing nothing crazy, all right? Calm down. Relax. You guys are up here. I'm gonna need you to bring it down here. All right? So I'm gonna be reacting to plot armor, and see what he thinks about, you know, Luffy sunning Kaido. All right? So if you're new to the channel, subscribe, please. Thank you. And let's get it started.
He's titled Next Level. After just having been made to experience his very own breath attack firsthand, we would have Kaido panting in an attempt to catch his own breath. The fight was very clearly wearing him down, and he would admit to believing Luffy was done for after what had happened previously. Of course, referring to his defeat at the hands of Kaido, largely thanks to the sudden intervention of the world government by
this man, Luffy, really sunned. He sat there and sunned Kaido. And to me, Kaido's not that strong, right? Like, okay, so when I say that, I want people to realize that I'm saying that out of retrospect, that in comparison to what I've seen from other characters, he's not that strong to me, right? This whole fight to me looks like a, you know, Naruto fighting Ishiki type beat, right? That's the vibe that I got from both a little bit of Looney Tune or whatever, a little goofy, art style and whatnot. Yes, Luffy did run across the air. I mean, that's cool, but like in terms of speed, that's not really, you know, that's not really a crazy speed feat, right? I'm more one of those people, like, you gotta show me a crazy feat before you start comparing yourself to other characters, right? That's all I'm saying.
Of a CP0 agent. And to this, Luffy too would admit that he shared the very same sentiment. He should not be alive. Unlike his Gear 4 techniques, this newfound state of his Gear 5th was not something he had previously experienced, trained, or even expected. This was something entirely new. And as we all know, Luffy is hardly the type to break things down and think about them a whole lot, and so we would have Kaido, in a sense, pick up the slack to further emphasize what exactly has happened. Kaido would surmise that because Luffy has now been able to make his surroundings rubbery like he could his own body, it was rather evident that the boy had awakened his paramecia type devil fruit, which, courtesy of the previous chapter, we now know to in fact be a mythical Zoan type devil fruit, albeit
it's basically a god type devil fruit. Woo! Woo!
covered up by the likes of the world government. Something one might imagine is seldom done, considering devil fruit abilities are typically rather indicative of their classification, and at the very least, the user typically knows the fruit's proper name upon consumption. Yet for some reason or another, which we will of course go on to theorize with preceding videos, Luffy lacks any such intrinsic understanding of his own devil fruit, therefore allowing for the spinning of such a tall tale. Yet the conflict here was clear as day to Kaido, as he could not shake the feeling that something was amiss here as it felt off, then frankly expressing that such a transformation was far more of a Zoan fruit type of trait, all the while making his way towards a leisurely Luffy and furthermore proceeding to chomp down on him. This would irritate Luffy as he would resist the crushing weight of Kaido's jaw, a display of resistance Kaido certainly was not expecting. And so in a bit of desperation, he decided to swallow his opponent whole as Luffy slid down screaming. However, it wouldn't take very long for Kaido to regret doing so, as Luffy's struggle against his interior was horrific, zigzagging from within as he kicked to the point of it appearing as such on the outside of the dragon's body. Luffy prepared his next attack, and while he did so, again the point of him not realizing the truth about his own fruit is displayed, as he continues to refer to his own moves with the Gomu Gomu beginning. and this was Gomu Gomu no Balloon. As Luffy expanded his body to epic proportions and Kaido right along with him, the draconic Yonko would cry out in both dismay and disapproval as he too would begin to elevate higher and higher, much to the shared disbelief of Yamato and Momonosuke.
And what's funny about that in the next panel, I can't remember who said it. I think it was either Sanji or Zoro. It was like, oh, this is something out of a comic book, right? So somebody in my comments was telling me, oh, Kaido confirmed that Luffy's he has Toon Force. I'm like, bro, relax. No, he did not. If anything, it's not confirmed that he has Toon Force. Like right now, he's beating up Kaido, right? That's what he's doing until somebody stronger comes along. And then he's going to need a Gear 6. And then people are going to start drawing comparisons. Hey, well, he could, solo Naruto now. I'm like, oh my God, the headaches. Oh my God, the headaches. Oh my gosh. But, I'm proud of Luffy. I'm happy that he got this 5th gear. He got a power up and whatnot, so...
The two were baffled by this newfound appearance of Kaido, as they began to banter among themselves, wondering what was going on, and the fact that it looked like Kaido had gained some pounds, to the point where Yamato would even begin to wonder if this was some unseen form of Kaido's. And oh man, Kaido was pissed. He had no idea how Luffy was doing any of this, especially the fact that beyond Luffy simply being rubbery himself,
damn it, how are you doing this? Your body's meant to be rubbery, not mine. Yeah, so it's official that Luffy could actually turn other stuff that he touches into rubber. That's crazy. That's broken. But he's not really damaging Kaido. Well, he is, but he's not at the same time.
So too was Kaido at this point, which again is another major expansion of the possibilities to be found with his power. The potential applications are virtually limitless and go even beyond that, as you'll see later on in the chapter. But as a very simple example, he could go on to make the Sunny cannon or bulletproof like himself. In fact, if he were to make another person rubbery, they may be able to bypass the water-based devil fruit limitation, since Luffy's body doesn't actually cease to be rubbery while submerged in water despite being inert. But I suppose the real question is, can Luffy turn the sea rubbery as well? Also, if you were to turn anyone rubbery, I would hope for it to be Zoro, simply so that concept art of Zoro having Luffy's fruit that Oda made in the past can come to life. But just when you think Luffy's powers couldn't get any more bizarre, from within Kaido, genuinely like a cartoon that defies the laws of physics and anatomy, Luffy would see a pair of bright lights and stretch his arms through them. What ultimately ended up being the eyeballs of Kaido.
With Fundrise, you can invest here, from there, or there.
The Gorosei were completely and utterly correct. This is by far the most ridiculous power in One Piece. And if I were to be in Kaido's position, I might just give up right then and there, because that sort of scarring experience is something you need a cold shower for afterwards. Good lord, and Luffy would jettison from them too with his escape rocket move as he laughed at his opponent's discomfort. Luffy was very clearly having a blast during all of this as he smiled in Kaido's direction before exhaling that which kept him inflated, therefore spiraling upwards and onwards into the clouds above. He'd also prepare yet another attack as Yamato and Momonosuke watched on, and what they saw absolutely blew their minds. This was Gomu Gomu no Gigant, as Luffy was now...
Okay, so that's probably what people were trying to tell me in my live stream. That, oh, Luffy got a Susanoo. Luffy got a Susanoo. So, I guess he could become a giant. He could do what he want right now. Right now, he could do what he want. But later in the chapter, I think Kaido hits him really hard and he gets damaged severely, and he starts to fade out of his Gear 5 and whatnot. But it's I knew it though. I even said it in one of my previous videos that he could probably use some of his other gear abilities inside Gear 5, which is broken as fuck. It's crazy. That's
absolutely
crazy.
Massive. I mean, Dragon Form Kaido is the biggest Zoan type transformation we have ever seen in the series, or at least he was, until this. He looks absolutely puny by comparison, but at the very least, he is still a dangerous reptile and he was prepared to strike. All the while, Momonosuke and Yamato would continue to be in total shock as they would wonder who in the world this figure was. Luffy's voice was certainly coming from it, but they, for obvious reasons, had a hard time believing it was actually him. But yeah, Kaido would chomp down onto the side of Luffy, who would cry out in agony, just before grabbing hold of Kaido's horns and a portion of his body, and in Gear 5th, this man Luffy is just extra disrespectful because he would use the body of one of the strongest pirates to ever sail the seas as a jump rope. The two were falling down at a rather accelerated rate. Yet as they made their way back down, Kaido would prepare a point-blank breath attack at Luffy, which made a direct impact and, according to Luffy, definitely burned. Yamato would worry for Luffy's well-being as he certainly looked to be especially charred after that one and was launched pretty far away, with a pose similar to when he was first defeated by Kaido and left to drown in the depths below. But Luffy was not done just yet. He'd hit this—
That's where he runs across the air, okay. Like how ninjas run across the water, alright.
And Kaido with the old "why I oughta" and begin to have flames emerge from behind him as he would then race across the sky, leaving a trail of flames behind him in pursuit of Kaido. So Luffy can run on air now, I guess. But my goodness, it does not end. He would wind up his fist preparing to attack, yet Kaido, now back to his hybrid form, would look in his direction and raise his weapon, catching an enraged Luffy off guard. And as if playing whack-a-mole, he would slam down on Luffy's head. And with this, the massive face and neck of Luffy would be submerged down into the live floor for all to see. And comparing this shot to Kaido's entrance just goes to show how huge Luffy has become now. And good lord, nobody was prepared for this. Their eyes would leave their skulls in disbelief, and as Morgans would say, this is big news. The fact that everyone in attendance is seeing this means that the information will soon make the rounds, even if they don't understand what they're looking at, much to the dismay and frustration.
So what, everybody else got Toon Force because their eyes are doing this now?
Of the world government. However, Luffy would squeeze himself back from whence he came, still much larger than Kaido upon his return, only to shrink back down to his normal size as Kaido related the boy's form to be like something right out of a children's picture book. And at this point, Luffy was certainly in pain and feeling the—
So it wasn't Zoro or Sanji, it was Kaido who said it was something out of a children's picture book. Okay, I got that confused for a second, my fault. If you made it to this video, I made a mistake. It was Kaido, I forgot. Yeah, like I said, like he took severe damage and he went back into his base.
Of this drawn-out fight. Kaido admired the show Luffy had put on thus far, but it was clear to him that Luffy was on the brink. He simply could not win. But Luffy would shout out at him to shut up. He'd begin breathing hard and let it be known that he was far from finished. However, his body said otherwise, as Gear 5th would begin to come undone, revealing his now extremely exhausted state. And by the end of it, Luffy looked to be downright elderly, which to me is somewhat reminiscent of a fellow Hito no Mi user by the name of Tony Chopper, as in the wake of pushing his Devil Fruit abilities past their limitations, he'd been reduced to a far smaller physical state, and strangely enough, along with the mentality of an elderly man. Luffy was now thoroughly exhausted and borderline decrepit. Things weren't looking so good. Kaido would then cry out, questioning what in the world Luffy was, but just then, Kaido would drop down to a knee as well, clearly just as exhausted despite his otherwise indomitable demeanor. And it's at this point that Luffy would be honest with the fact that yeah, he was on the verge of death. After all, this fight was certainly taking a lot out of him. Kaido responds to this by saying that Luffy could rest easy in death, that at the very least, tales would be told of how valiantly they all fought in this war. But Luffy didn't care about that at all, stating that when you're dead, only your bones remain, which is apparently a line out of Bing Sake, the ever-famous pirate song that Brook tends to play. And even looking beyond that, this line definitely reminds me of figures like Odin and Roger, who in the past expressed that they had never died despite meeting their demise, and that's on account of their wills living on to be inherited. But Luffy, as the inheritor, no doubt had more he needed to do as he began chuckling to himself. And it is here that Yamato would begin to confirm that this figure was in fact Luffy, but with his now light-colored hair and clothes, the latter of which many fan artists seem to overlook, but may be less likely to now with this being directly addressed. However, Momonosuke would let it be known that Luffy's voice was still fading quickly, which would again serve to say that yeah, he was dying slowly but surely. Luffy, who was now back up on his feet with a pose somewhat reminiscent of the old Gear 2nd transformation, would let it be known that they are not done just yet, then uttering the names of those he had promised: Momo, Tama, Kiemon, and finally, the late Pedro, which I especially enjoyed. And just like Luffy, Kaido is smiling now too, saying that Luffy is seriously going to kill himself. And as Luffy powered up, he questioned if Kaido truly believed that after all this, something like death could scare him, as he would urge his heartbeat to get louder once again with the drums of liberation. And Kaido would accept this decision of Luffy's as he would rush behind him, winding back his weapon just as Luffy successfully entered the form yet again. Yamato would cry out for Luffy to evade, but it would hit him, and his face would go on to favor putty as it matched the imprint of the weapon surface. And Yamato was mortified, as Luffy ran off in pain looking absolutely bizarre. Kaido wasn't—
Why he running? This chapter was hilarious. It was funny. It was hilarious though. Like, it was super goofy, super funny on Luffy's part. Luffy he didn't really have crazy feats in this fight though. Like, I'm still not a believer that he can actually, you know, like, if we was to do a debate, this is not about which anime is better. It's just for like debate purposes and wanting to know who will win in a fight. That's what people come to my channel for, right? So, like, I need more to be convinced that he could beat somebody like, you know, Naruto Baryon Mode or Ishiki. Like, I need more, you know, evidence. This is not good enough. It's like you're trying to scale Kaido to like an Ishiki. Like, no, it's not the same.
Finished though, as he would catch up to Luffy and slam his weapon down on him yet again, as Luffy would have the ground be rubbery and somewhat lessen the impact, yet impact it had, as Luffy's body was now collapsed in on itself like a crushed can that would bounce up into the air. This flat-headed Luffy would spiral elsewhere before landing on some nearby debris and beginning a countdown from 3. And when he counted to 0, he popped back up to his normal stature as Conqueror's Haki would ripple out from his form, then rushing to Kaido as he swung his arms in a rotating fashion. And at the very same time, a bewildered and overwhelmed Kaido—
oh yeah, when he did this, he really cracked. He cracked Kaido. Like, his face was all punched in and whatnot. It was ridiculous.
would have to wonder what Luffy and this new pure white hair transformation of his was. He'd begin breaking things down, the fact that Luffy was coated in not only armament, but also Conqueror's Haki, and could influence anything around him with this power of his. The freedom and versatility to which he fought was unlike anything this seasoned fighter had ever seen or experienced before, yet even still he would let it be known that no one in the world was capable of taking him down. And oh my goodness, what Luffy does from here is absolutely, positively insane. He literally punches through Kaido's face. I mean, his fist literally went through the man's cranium.
See, here's the thing, right? When I read the chapter, it wasn't in colored, so I didn't notice his fist went through. He's dead. Oh, it's a wrap. Oh. See, I didn't notice his fist went through his face. I'm thinking that he just punched, Kaido really, really hard to where his face started to sink in. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, he killed him. Oh, wow.
Nobody could believe it, not even us. But with this, Luffy has toppled Kaido and looks to, at this moment, have the upper hand. But you know what? It looks like the fight is not completely over just yet, as Luffy lets it be known to Kaido that he is currently having the time of his life.
Ain't no way he's getting back up. He got a hole through his skull, his face. How's he getting back up?
Depending on whether or not we end up solely focusing on this fight, I'd imagine we can expect at least 1 or 2 more chapters of combat. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.
I don't want to sound cocky, but watching my body turn into a Ferrari, basically, it was,
hell yeah.
Bro. The last panel was super fire, bro. I didn't peep because I was at work. I was tired. So when I was reading it, I was tired. So I didn't really notice. But he punched the hole through his skull. How is he alive after that? I don't know. Like, how is he gonna, I wouldn't be able to, how is he doing that? How did he do that? How did he do that? That's crazy. Wow. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, smash the like button for your boys, me, your boy Sue. And I got like another 3 more videos for you guys, so stay tuned for that.